was here in that time MacLeod Road leper colony. And this was so horrid, so unbelievably horrid. When I went the first time to the municipality and said, yeah, something has to happen, you can't let these patients just rot there. They said, we don't have leprosy in Pakistan. It is just an ordinary disease caused by a bacterium, which comes from the same family as the tuberculosis bacillus.
Frankly, my exposure to understanding leprosy was extremely limited. So I felt a bit intimidated and nervous when I sat in front of Dr. Ruth Pfau in our Karachi studios. But as the lights were being set up, I mentioned my mother, and I knew that she and Ruth Pfau had had a good friendship. "Oh, you're Alice's daughter," she said. And after that was completely smooth sailing. And I spoke to this wonderful woman who spent her whole life, who dedicated her whole life to the lepers of Pakistan. And today we owe her so much. Dr. Ruth Pfau. Dr. Pfau, 1960, a long time ago. Pakistan was a long way away from Germany. Why did you choose us?
Well, it wasn't primarily that I chose Pakistan. I don't even think that I was fully aware that Pakistan has been born. I was supposed to go to India and I couldn't get my visa, so I got stuck here. And once I was here, I really got stuck. Mera dil lagi, what could I do?
So it was our good fortune to have you then. Mm-hmm. Talk to me about your life before 1960, Dr. Pfau, in Germany.
Difficult to say. I had a happy childhood because my father and my mother, they hit it off well. We were 6 at home, so we had a lot of fun. But very early already, Hitler took over. I was just 4. From this time onward, it was a kind of a insecure feeling. Then the war broke out. I was just 10. Then the war was over. I was 14. And this was a horrid time, because then we were occupied by the Russians. We were hungry, we were cold, of course the house was bombed out. So we had a lot of problems. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It took me long to answer this question. I had never answered it, but to come to terms with this question: why is life the way it is, and what does it all mean, and what actually does God, who at this time previously was in no way a reality in my life, because the Nazi as well as the communists, they thought that God was something for our grandparents, but nothing for us. Mm-hmm. Modern and looking in the future. Yeah. Took me long to find out that there was more to life than only what you could weigh and see and measure. And so once I knew this, I had found back to religion. Mm-hmm. I went the whole way. I entered the church, I got baptism. This is for us the entry into our religious group. Mm-hmm. And then I became a nun.
Oh, you became a nun?
Oh, yes. Sure, I was.
Okay. You took the vows?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because this was tremendously important for me then, to really do nothing half, to be free, to serve people. And then it was my congregation who asked me to go to what we called that time the Third World. Development had just only started, and they asked me to go to India. So I didn't mind where I went. I just wanted, by this, in this time I was already a qualified doctor, I just wanted to go somewhere where I could serve. And Germany, when I left Germany, Germany at this time started really picking up. You could feel after this World War where everything was in ruins, just flat. After this World War, we were about to rebuild our country too. And it was quite clear to me at this time that Germany had, all their people were after all qualified. So we knew how to start off. But I heard that there was a desperate dearth of qualified people in the developing countries, so I thought it's nice to go.
And so you came to Pakistan. When did your interest develop in your field, which is leprosy?
When I reached Pakistan, I thought that leprosy was a disease which didn't any longer exist because we don't have it in Germany. It was only when I was confronted that I thought, I can't sleep if I don't do something here and now and definite, and I mean first to help and then to do something structural, that misery. Well, we did something.
Oh yes, you did, my goodness. Tell me, Dr. Pfau, your first contact with leprosy was in Pakistan.
Was here in that time MacLeod Road leper colony. And this was so horrid, so unbelievably horrid. I mean, I surely have seen much misery in my childhood and in my youth. But this was beyond everything I could have imagined. At this time, people in Pakistan didn't know that this disease was curable. Mm. This was 60. Since 42, we had the drugs developed.
But they did not obviously reach here.
The knowledge didn't reach here.
That's right.
Yeah.
So you were actually attempting to move into a field that, as somebody would say, nobody wanted to go into.
No, this is definite. At this time you couldn't possibly get anybody to do something for leprosy.
Simply by the fact that one was afraid of catching the disease as well.
Well, I think really it went even further. It went to the point that people just denied facts. When I went the first time to the municipality and said, yeah, something has to happen. You can't let these patients just rot there. They said, we don't have leprosy in Pakistan. They come along, I show you. They said, sorry, madam, we don't have leprosy. Then I thought, why do I still talk with them? We're going to do something and then show it to them.
It was like moving mountains, wasn't it, Dr. Pfau?
Mm. Well, luckily, when you start off, you are so busy that you only see the next patient. Looking back, it looks like, oh.
And you were at that time alone?
No, I had a very dear sister in religion who had discovered actually this colony. She's still with us. She's a Mexican pharmacist, and she just also couldn't sleep when she saw this. So she had written to our headquarters in Paris whether they wouldn't have a doctor. So they wrote back, we have a doctor, but we are sorry, we have promised her to India. So when I got stuck here, I think she prayed very hard.
She was probably one of the persons instrumental in keeping you here, obviously.
Definitely.
And you're still working together.
Yeah.
How did you begin to raise this awareness about leprosy in Pakistan?
You know, at this time we didn't even think about raising awareness. This was later on. At this time we just thought, what do we do to prevent that the patients' hand and feet, where they lost the feeling, weren't eaten up with by the rats at night. I mean, we had very short-term, very concrete objectives at this time. So we told the kids around, we said, everybody who gives us a dead rat gets 1 rupee from us. So they started rat hunting, and we had them. They brought it really in a real doggery, full of dead rats. So, I mean, this was the first what we did. Yeah. Then I next looked, of course, or first looked at I get a book, because I didn't know anything about leprosy. I hadn't learned it. So I needed a monography about leprosy to know what I should do professionally.
And carried on. Just a couple of questions, Dr. Pfau. Explain to me very briefly, what is leprosy, and why do I not have it and somebody else does? And if I do, then how can I cure myself?
You know, you asked this question of awareness. I do not know why after 40 years successful leprosy control, not average people in Pakistan know about it, but I know the better educated, the less knowledge about leprosy. Yeah? It is just an ordinary disease caused by a bacterium, which comes from the same family as the tuberculosis bacillus. And this is our luck and the patient's luck. We have a medication which kills this bacterium and therefore totally cures the disease. How it is transmitted, we still don't know. Most probably the same as tuberculosis, by breathing and inhaling, but it is of all infectious diseases the least infectious one. We can't say it exactly, because once the germ enters the body, it may sleep 3, 5, 40 years before the disease comes out, and this makes it so difficult really to eradicate it. We have controlled it, but every year we still get around 1,000, 900, 1,200 new patients in Pakistan. They come out of this incubation period.
And of course they are curable.
Fully. When we get them in the first stage, then 6 months. If we get them if the immunity of the patient is very low, and we get them later, then it's 2 years, but there's an absolute 100% cure for leprosy.
At that time, Dr. Pfau, you were without a team. You worked without a team. You raised a team. Did the team come to you, or did you go to the team?
I very soon understood that the team wasn't ready-made in Pakistan. You had to make your own. Yeah. So the first one whom we picked out were either cured patients themselves or patients on the way to cure, or children of leprosy patients. And once we had floated the idea, leprosy is curable, now we are going to do something about, then this nucleus team looked to it that their friends joined. And this way we have been extremely lucky in getting a team together who really wanted to serve. There wasn't much to be earned. At this time there wasn't even izzat. People thought that you were fools, that you didn't have another chance in life, therefore you finally ended up in leprosy. So the first team was really thoroughly motivated. So we worked from them.
And now as you look back, Dr. Pfau, 44 years in the field, where did you start from and where have you expanded and reached? In terms of a team, in terms of centers, in terms of people that are working with you?
Well, when we started off, we had a wooden hut which the patient from old crates had nailed together themselves, and we were busy, as I said, killing rats. Now, when I look it up today, we have a national leprosy control program. Leprosy is a health department in all provinces. Punjab is a little bit short, so we are working with the medical universities. We have registered 50,300 patients across the country. out of this, everybody is today cured except those 2,000 we get annually.
Every year. Fresh ones.
Yeah, fresh ones. And as it is often a 2 years treatment, so we have about 2 years, the 2,000 we keep on having, but leprosy today is a little patch. Yeah, it doesn't really upset the life of a patient. Very, very rarely. We still have certain ethnic groups in Pakistan who think that leprosy is absolutely the end of their life. Yeah, you have to be very careful to lead them accepting a diagnosis, but this is a small,
very small percentage.
Yeah, it's a small percentage. Leprosy today is on the way of getting a normal disease. The only thing is you don't die of leprosy. So those whom we picked up late because we just didn't come in time, who are deformed, who are uprooted, they are still alive today. Yeah, of our 50,000 leprosy patients, which of course means 50,000 families.
Of course.
Yeah, 27,000 are quite settled in
normal life,
in society. Yeah, they are on their feet. With 23,000, we still have to work on. And this is very important, very, very important. Many of them, when they were children, they didn't get a chance to get an education.
That's true.
Many of them also went down the social ladder
because of
difficulty to pick up again.
Quite right.
Yeah, so 23,000 is still a lot of, and then I can't say it often enough. We still have 20,000 individuals in Pakistan who are infected, but we can't diagnose them because it's inside.
Inside, fine, but it will happen.
It will come out. Therefore, it is so important that we continue with our services.
Tell me, Dr. Pfau, as you look back over these years spent in this country, and you look at the sacrifices that you have made personally, and the sacrifices that have been made on behalf of your team and the hard work, would you have lived your life any differently?
And I don't think that anyone in the team, I mean, sacrifice, I don't think that anybody felt occasionally, yes, but that anybody really felt that they have filled their lives with sacrifices. We have filled our lives with eminent meaning and a lot of happiness, Also frustration. I mean, I won't paint it too rosy. We have been often very mad, really, very mad. But when I look back, I would do the very, 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 very same.
64 years ago and today, how do you find this country? How has it changed?
Of course, it has changed a lot. There's absolutely no question. I mean, just you and your mother are a proof of it. Yeah, we have the women can be hurt now in Pakistan, and I think when this goes on, it will do Pakistan a lot of good. I wished we would really, it wouldn't only be a certain social strata who has got their voice. Yeah, we still have to see that it's right through the entire Pakistan that women are heard. I mean, practically, there's where we used to walk by foot 2 weeks on a stretch, we can now take a jeep and drive a truck at least. Yeah, if we can't drive. This is also much better, much better. When I look at Pakistan, I mean, this really which matters. When I look at the dreams, I feel very, very sad. I mean, it seems that we shifted our dreams largely to the immediate pleasure. Yeah, when we dream about our lives, I think 65, we still dream big. 60, when I came. I think we dream small now. And this isn't good for the country. I think those who still dream big should get together and say, I tell you a story. I don't like to make statements. Yeah, tell you little stories. We had a small Pakistani equipment went out of order. I said, well, why did it now get out of order? My leprosy technician turned it around and said, made in Pakistan. This is bad. Yeah? This is really bad. If it would have been made in Germany, he would have said, made in Germany. Yeah? So I do think it is very, very, very important that we look at the beauty in the country. There's a lot of beauty. And don't allow anybody to let it bury it under all, which is really going wrong. There's no question. There's a lot of things going wrong. When I look at our legal system, you can't work in Pakistan with 50,000 families, and we have already cured 33,000 tuberculosis patients also. So we work with a lot of people. You can't work with such a section of society without also getting involved in human rights. And I must say these human rights cases are much more painful for me than any leprosy. Leprosy, we can do something. Yeah.
Tell me, Dr. Pfau, when you settled here, or decided to settle here by default, or whatever the reasons, there must have been people at home who must have said you're quite mad. Well, I mean, I'm sorry I'm using that word, but there must have been criticism.
I mean, what are you doing there? At this time, people said it was always crazy. Yeah, I mean, and so I was in this age where I was allowed to do something crazy. But when I just am back from Germany, I have to go there for these awareness campaigns, and at the moment they keep on calling me because I'm one of the few Westerners who have lived a happy life over 40 years in an Islamic country. Yeah? So they all say, you must be absolutely mad. Why did you keep on remaining in Pakistan after the, well, the 11th September, they may still say, okay, she has her friends there. But with all this, with that Afghanistan war, with that Iraq war, yeah, this is what they can't understand.
And for you, this is home?
No, it can't. I mean, this is just something I thought I could become really at home. Here, you can't. You can't. You are a product of your soil. But Urdu has a beautiful distinction. They speak about Aapka Padaish ka mulk and Aapka Dil ka mulk. Yeah?
Aapka Padaish ka mulk kaun sa hai? Germany.
Germany.
Aur aapka dil ka mulk?
Pakistan.
Yahi bahut hai, yahi bahut hai. Do you mind if I ask you a couple of questions in Urdu?
No.
I'll make them as simple as I can.
Oh, sure. No
Dr. Pfau, आपको बहुत से बैनुल-अक़वामी अवार्ड भी मिले हैं, पाकिस्तानी अवार्ड भी मिले हैं. जिस वक्त आपको पहला अवार्ड मिला पाकिस्तान की तरफ से, आपके क्या जज्बात थे हुकूमत पाकिस्तान की तरफ से? कुछ याद है?
याद है. मुझे याद है कि ये कराची था, कराची में था, या? और उस वक्त याया खान, ये इसका नाम?
जी, बिल्कुल याया खान.
सही?
सदर
इसका? सदा था हाँ और जब उसने अंदर आया बिल्कुल जैसा अंग्रेज और इसका मैंने कहा ये किस किस्म का अवार्ड होगा और उसको शायद मालूम नहीं होता शायद उसको मालूम नहीं होता वो उस वक़्त मकान कहाँ है और वो शायद ज़िंदगी में कभी मकान गई नहीं पर किस बच्चे से वो मुझको अवार्ड देता ये मेरा
पहला अवार्ड
ख्याल था उस वक़्त
And then of course you consecutively got many awards.
Yeah, no, then it was something else. एक दफ़ा मैंने कहा ये अवार्ड मिलने से मुझे बहुत तंग आया क्यों मुझे एक नया कपड़ा चाहिए और हैरत के पास जाना इतना तमाशा है और फिर मेरा लेप्रोसी टेक्नीशियन ने कहा शायद आपके लिए ये ज़रूरी नहीं है लेकिन हमारे लिए बहुत ज़रूरी है जब वो के तुम लेप्रोसी का काम करते हैं पर हमने कहा आपको मालूम हो तो लेप्रोसी क्या है बहुत इज्जत है हमारा डॉक्टर तो उस वक़्त मुझे मालूम नहीं था उस वक़्त किस किस्म की अवार्ड था सितारा-i-Pakistan उस वक़्त उसने ये कहा यहाँ को बहुत ही फ़ायदा है बहुत ही फ़ायदा
So you have them you have a list of them you have them
I have a list
quite of them and then last year you got this award in Manila.
Now this was really nice. This was really nice. मुझे इसे भी कुछ गुस्सा था क्योंकि मैंने कहा एक दफ़ा मैं छुट्टी पर जाऊंगी और इन दिनों में ये अब होता है इसलिए ये छुट्टी भी
ख़त्म हो गई
लेकिन उधर पहुंचने के बाद मुझे बहुत ही खुशी थी ये मकसद से अवार्ड वो मकसद से वो ही सवालात पूछते हैं कमाने एक ही चीज़ ज़रूरी भी है ये मैं नहीं कहती हूँ कमाना भी ज़रूरी है लेकिन ख़ास सवाल ये है हमारा values. What's this in Urdu?
Oh God, you get me there.
Now look that I don't know.
Carry on.
Yeah. हमारा values है क्या? और वो इनको अवार्ड देते हैं जो आपने
your dreams and values.
Yeah. Those who kept their dreams and values in spite of difficulties and
pressures.
Yeah. And this I think is very important.
Very important. Dr. Pfau, as you look back now, won't you retire?
You know, I have already retired. When I was 65, I officially retired. But somehow in Pakistan you do that differently than we do it at home. Yeah, you can't. वो इतना खुश है जब एक बुजुर्ग है. Yeah. So I moved actually out of the hospital.
Okay.
Next day the team was behind me. हमने क्या कसूर किया? आप क्यों भाग गए? क्यों गए? And then I explained them what for us retirement means.
That you must step out and somebody else takes over.
I mean, the others took over.
That's right.
Yeah, I have a wonderful team. Otherwise, heaven, I would be so worried. Yeah, but after I installed the team, I should go out. Yeah?
Yes.
They said, "Nee, हमारा रवाइश ये नहीं है." The girls, the daughters have to leave the family. The sons may leave the family. If the mother moves out, हमारा इज़्ज़त खराब है. So I moved back. And it's true, there is much experience, which I have and which the younger crew doesn't yet have.
That's right.
So they are happy when I'm around.
So you're advising.
And then we still have to solve that problem, who is going to pay this? Still 80% comes from Germany.
I see. So you are also a part of that
I mean,
fundraising.
very, very much so. But we have now to see that Pakistan takes over a responsibility which Germany for 35 years has been tackling. Yeah? When I started off, Pakistan was poor. Today, the government may be poor, but the people are not poor. I mean, large section of...
They can take over.
They can take over. They absolutely can take over and look after their own disadvantage. So this is at the moment, this is our new awareness campaign.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. ये भी इज़्ज़त की बात करेंगे.
And do you, Dr. Pfau, look back and feel that you have contributed yourself? All the sacrifices were worth it?
Well, that is absolutely no question. Absolutely no question. I'm one of those, I guess, few very lucky ones who, looking back, can say was worthwhile. It really was worthwhile.
No regrets?
No regrets.
But will you go back to Germany?
No, I won't. I won't. There are reasons. In our congregation, we do have young Pakistani women who are dreaming of doing something similar. So until now, I really have lived in the Pakistan part of, in the male part of Pakistan. Now I would still like to have some time to shift over to the female part of Pakistan and work with this group. This is a group full of future. Yeah. So this I'll do as long as I can.
And you think the women of Pakistan are looking better than they did all those years ago?
You know, you really have to see there are no women of Pakistan. You have to see it's very different. Yeah, there are women of Balochistan, there are women of Khoistan, there are women in many in Punjab, totally different. Yeah, many really. Their fate has improved a lot, but there are enough where it is still the very same way it was 35 years ago. Yeah, so there's a lot still to be done, a lot to be done. Now, 2 days ago, this story in the paper that they will not even cut the FIR when a girl of a low caste was gang raped. Yeah, all this, it's going on. Today in the paper, mother of 3 children died in police custody. Now you don't tell me that the mother of 3 children, the youngest one 11 months, committed suicide. Yeah, this can make me absolutely mad. So as long as it's going on, I'm not going home. Maybe I one day can join this human right, because there's still a lot to be done. Yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Pfau. It was a privilege and a pleasure. Thank you.